So now we're going to start forming these shapes here, the swirls that lie right next to the stone, and go back here. And with that, we're going to use these 4 pieces we cut earlier of the 4-inch pieces. So just working with one at a time. I'm going to start by forming that swirl that lies right next to the stone. So we'll just put in a nice open swirl here. It's going to sit like that. And then where it crosses the center wire, we want to swoop it back up and put a little curve in right here. So I'm just kind of marking with my thumb where that happens. And we'll take the wire all the way around, like that. And you want that circle to sit right next to this wire here. So just like that. And then we're going to make a similar swirl on this side, but a little bit smaller. So I'm going to swirl the wire back down this way. Let me get a flush end on that. So that's the shape you want. And again, it's going to sit like this on our bracelet. So go ahead and make 3 more of these with the rest of your 4-inch wires. Here we go. So you should have all 4 of your little swirls done now. We're going to start attaching them to the frame. And they're going to sit like this, if I can get them arranged. They're going to sit like that. So what we're going to do is put bindings over both the base wire and these 2 right here, right next to the stone. We're going to put bindings right here as well, over both the swirls and over the base wire. And we'll also do right here between these 2 circles. So let's go ahead and cut the half-round wire for those bindings. I'm going to use 2-inch pieces for all of those. So you're going to need 6 in total since we're doing 3 on each side. And as before, I'm going to prep these by just putting a little U-shaped bend in. And I'll set those aside and pull them out as I need them. We'll just start with one for now. We're going to take these 2 shapes, kind of sandwiched together. And you want to put them so that they are touching your center stone. And again, if you like, you can put some masking tape over this area to hold them together while you do this. But we're just going to drop that little piece we made right over those 2 and over the center wire, just like that. And I like to do 3 good wraps here. So I'm really pulling this wire tight to make sure that it holds everything together. There we go. I'm going to come back and snip those ends in just a minute. First though, I'm going to do our next wrap, which is going to be here. And you do want these little circles to be touching these swirls. So I may have gotten a little shifted while I was working with it. I'm just making sure the stone is still centered and the wires here are still centered. So you should have something like that. And I want these to be symmetrical, so I'm going to tighten that one up a little bit. And we'll take another of those little wires we just prepped, and drop it right between these two circles here, just like that. And again, I like to do 3 good wraps here. And one nice thing about the twisted square wire and the half round wire versus just plain round wire is that they really seem pretty good at gripping each other. So that gives this design more stability with these wraps, just making sure that everything adheres to the frame nicely and doesn't slip around. If you do use round wires, that might be one downside. Just apart from pure aesthetics, you might have a little bit more trouble just getting everything to stick where you want it to be. So that's one reason that I like using twisted square and half round wire for this design. And for our last wrap, we're just going to go right over here. Once I've got everything battened down there, I will snip off the ends on the back. And tighten them down with my Zuron tweezer nose pliers. So that's what it's looking like at this point. And we are going to put on a few more bindings. I'm going to wrap right here these two together and right here. And for that I'm just going to use some 1.5 inch pieces, again of our 20 gauge half round wire. So again, going right over both of those. And for these ones you want to do 2 or 3 wraps. And I think I might actually prefer how this looks with just the 2 wraps, so I might take this one off and just do 2 wraps around there. And we'll do the same thing on this lower one here. So go ahead and do that exact same thing with your last 2 shapes like this. Go ahead and attach them mirror image on the other side using the bindings in the same places. And once you've got that done, we are almost finished with this bracelet. We just need to add some little bits on the ends here to finish those out. And I'm actually going to do something a little different from what I did on this one. On this one I made little heart shapes that ended in a loop right here. For this one I think I want to make slightly longer heart shapes that end. This little loop will end with this one here, because this was a little fiddly attaching that, so I think that'll be easier for you guys. So the 3.5 inch pieces should allow you to do that. What we're going to do is just go ahead and put a bend right in the bottom middle of this. And we'll cross those wires over. Like I said, we're going to make a very elongated heart shape, so I'm going to swirl these 2 ends in on each other. And then we'll do this one the same. So we want something about like this. And let's go ahead and check it here. We want this loop to end right next to that loop, and we want these swirls to just brush up against these swirls here. So I'm going to tighten them up a little bit further. And I might need to trim off a little bit to tighten these up as much as I need. And that is just about perfect. So we're going to bind these on to the base wire the same way we did this one right here. So we're going to drop a piece of half round wire right over there and wrap it around all three. And then we'll do another one right here to bind it there. So again, about 1.5 inch pieces should be sufficient for this. Put a little U shape in there, just like before. And holding it in place with my left hand, we'll just attach it on here. And I want it to match this, so I'm going to do 3 wraps. And then we will also bind this right here, both of these wires together. And just snipping off the ends. And finally, to finish off, we're just going to bind right here and right here. So go ahead and pull out your 20 gauge half round wire one last time. And for that, about 1.5 inches should be fine. So we'll just drop it right over there and attach those swirls together. And I think 2 nice tight wraps should be more than enough right here. And snipping that off on the back. And doing the same thing on that other side there. There we go. So go ahead and do that same heart-shaped attachment on the other side of your bracelet. So here is your finished bracelet, and I just love this. I think it looks super rich and elegant. And you can choose to antique this now or after we shape it. This is the unantiqued. This is what it looks like antiqued in copper. And I do have a video on how I use liver of sulfur to add a patina to my copper. You can check that out on my channel if you are curious. But for now, let's go ahead and shape this. And if you have a bracelet mandrel, you can shape it around that. I find that I can just use my fingers to kind of go along and put a gentle curve into this. And you want to shape this until it's a somewhat flattened circle shape. And you want the ends to come together and have about an inch space between them. So here's what it looks like now that it's been shaped. And to put this on, you just, of course, if you're familiar with cuffs, you slide it on like that, and then you can turn it, and you can tighten it on down a little bit if you want to. But that is our finished piece. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, found it relatively easy to follow. As always, if you did, feel free to leave a like and comment below, especially if you have any questions that you ran into along the way, or if you have ideas for future tutorial ideas that you might like to see, you can leave a comment below with those. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and click that little notification bell to make sure that you get notified when I do post new videos. I'm trying to do at least every other week right now, although it is a little hard. These videos take me a long time to produce and edit and get posted, but I'm trying to do that right now. And I just wanted to give you guys a little note as I'm getting into kind of sharing more unique, one-of-a-kind designs with you. If you sell these online, I would really appreciate if you would just leave a little comment wherever you're selling it, saying designed by Fantasia Elegance, and a link to my Etsy shop, which I will leave in the description section below. You can check that out. And of course, if you're posting on social media or whatever, just if you could also give design credit to Fantasia Elegance, that would be lovely. I really appreciate it, you guys. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos, and happy crafting! So here is what our finished bracelet looks like, and of course, again, you can see both the raw copper and the antiqued copper here. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, found it helpful and easy to follow. Please leave me a comment below if you had any questions along the way with this, or if you have ideas for future tutorials you might like to see. I'm always open to suggestions. Of course, do make sure you have subscribed and clicked that little notification bell to make sure that you get notified of new videos I post. YouTube unfortunately does not let you know when I post new videos unless you are both subscribed and have clicked that little notification bell. So do me a favor and just hit both of those buttons. And I also wanted to let you guys know, just a note on if you are making these designs to sell online, which is fine, I can't stop you from doing that, but especially with these more kind of unique designs that I'm coming up with, I would really appreciate if you guys would just leave a credit to me wherever you're selling it, just a little comment, you know, below the description of the item you're selling saying designed by Fantasia Elegance, and just leave a link to my Etsy shop, which I will put down in the description section below for you. I would really appreciate that, and if you could also do the same thing, if you make this and post pictures of it on social media or whatever, that would be a big help, and I would really appreciate it, you guys. So thanks so much for watching, as always, and happy crafting until I see you again.